Thank you. Good afternoon. Before we start this second interactive panel discussion, it is with great pleasure and I think a certain frisson of excitement in the room that we would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Robert Redford, a man who needs no introduction, but an actor and environmental campaigner who would like to make a statement. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, ministers, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to add fellow citizens. I'm here today as an environmental advocate, but also a father, grandfather, and a concerned citizen, one of billions around the world who are urging you to take action now on climate change. I'm an actor. I'm sorry about that. I'm an actor by trade. I'm an actor by trade, but I'm an activist by nature. Somebody who's always believed that we must find the balance between what we develop for our survival and what we preserve for survival. Your mission is as simple as it is daunting: to save the world before it's too late. Now, my own engagement on climate change began more than 40 years ago, but the urgency that I felt then has only grown stronger. And along the way, one of my initiatives was to bring mayors from around the world who are closest to the people, bring them together at Sundance to talk about the threats of climate change. And when the nations of the world gather in Paris this year, they're going to be joined by those mayors and also business and civic leaders, all ready to make commitments to action now. And nothing less than the fate of our planet is hanging in the balance. And the imperative for action should not be more clear. So today, we can no longer claim ignorance as an excuse for inaction, because it's the overwhelming judgment of science that climate change is real and the result of human activity. And as Pope Francis has so eloquently pointed out, climate change is a moral imperative that transcends politics. And we see the effects all around us, from drought and famine in Africa and heat waves in South Asia to wildfires across North America, devastating hurricanes, tornadoes, crippling floods here in New York. The heat wave in India and Pakistan has already claimed more than 2,300 lives, making it one of the deadliest in history. And so, everywhere we look, moderate weather seems to be going extinct. All the years of the 21st century so far have ranked among the warmest on record. And as temperatures rise, so do global instability, poverty, and conflict. Now, the best scientists in the world tell us that we've already used up more than half of our remaining carbon budget. Now, an increase of just 2 degrees Celsius is all that separates our planet from becoming less habitable. Now, that difference is barely perceptible to human skin, but 2 degrees is all it takes to turn an agriculture breadbasket into desert and eliminate fresh water from 1/3 of the world's land surface by 2100. So, our window of opportunity is narrow, and the margin between success and catastrophic failure is unfortunately thin. And the time for half measures and climate denial is over. Unless we move quickly away from fossil fuels, we're going to destroy the air we breathe, the water we drink, the health of our children, grandchildren, and future generations. And if we're going to avoid the worst of the impacts, then we've just got to act boldly, and we must act immediately, because we're all responsible for this crisis. And right now, citizens, communities, corporations, and countries around the world are stepping up to the challenge. So that's the good news. More than 500 cities have made that decision to create jobs, improve the quality of life, and reduce emissions by investing in clean energy. Last year, US and China, the 2 largest emitters of greenhouse gas, agreed to historic carbon reductions. But look, no country can solve this crisis alone. We've all got to do more. We must be a movement that includes every single nation on Earth, because climate change affects every nation on Earth. So this December, the world must unite behind a common goal. Because look, this is it. This is our only planet, our only life source. This may be our last chance. Our planet's resources are limited, but there's no limit to the human imagination and our capacity to solve bigger problems. So only by acting now and standing together behind a universal climate agreement can we live up to the UN's promise that was made years ago, its founding promise. And only by acting now and standing together can we achieve the results we need in the time that we have left. And only by acting now and standing together can we begin to tip the scales and change the course of history. When 193 countries take center stage in Paris this December, the citizens of the world are going to be watching. And we're going to be looking to you to assume the leading role in combating climate change. And I, for one, hope you will embrace that role with courage and conviction. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that important reminder of the urgency and the little room for manoeuvre that we have if we don't act and act